What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Monetary Recap back at it again with another informative video, and today we will be going over our favorite wonder child, AMD, ticker symbol AMD. Okay, if you are not up to know, this is one of our most favorited and prized stocks because it is turning up to be a great investment point, and a watch list that I think everyone should keep open is for AMD, is because the retracement levels on AMD is pretty massive here. And if you like to use Fibonacci retracement levels, you can see that AMD has broken below our lowest Fibonacci level, which means either two things. Either it's finding its bottom, which could be signaled by the wick closing a little bit higher than its ultimate low, or it could signal that there's more weakness and we go down to maybe the $95 range or something like that. But it is my prediction that we will not dip below the bottom of these wicks, which the farthest these wicks is about $90, which would be another $7 decrease for AMD. I think that is only possible if the S&P starts to slide as more and more in tech. Apple, Tesla, they've been hit hard. Bitcoin is also down a substantial amount of money. This is just due to worries. It's cycles. They can be really drawn out, and they can make you feel, completely depleted. You can be insolvent before this market is rational. So, the rationality in this market always comes later, and it's only hindsight that lets you see that you should have bought now. And so from a third point, I've waited personally on this AMD trade because I think that there's still a little bit more volatility that I'd like to get out before I decide to throw my own coffers in there. But I would personally recommend that if you could open debit spreads, that would be a pretty keen point, or you could sell some put debit spreads or put credit spreads, at the lower strikes here, or at maybe even at the higher strikes. You can squeeze out some credit premium, or you can try to set yourself up for a nice debit spread play, which would greatly profit if we go back up to 125, which I think is keen. I think earnings will set the stage, and if tech starts to rebound, AMD will see at least a 10% gain. I'm pretty confident in saying that. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a financial analyst, but I think from just an average Joe's point of view, market sentiment, you could squeeze out a 2% gain, and that is massive. If you don't get too greedy with the stock market, you can squeeze out 2% gains. But I think some really key levels here to look out as if we can hold 95, which would signal a bottom right at almost at this gap up point. We had some really strong daily wicks, which it's now coming back to test, and this is only a good thing, because if AMD creates support levels like it did down here at 84, then $97 is the next 84, which is a $13 increase, which is insane if you're cost averaging. I personally know people who have changed from 5-figure amounts, even 4-figure amounts, all the way to 6-7-figure amounts just from AMD calls. And it's insane. The hype behind AMD is only getting started, and compared to Nvidia's financials, it's got better financials than Nvidia with a lower market capitalization. Now, that means one thing. That means AMD is undervalued. Now, I think it was Deutsche Bank or it was Barclays. There was one analyst who said that Intel is the future. And if you were to look at Intel, which we can take a look at right here, you'll see why Intel is not going to take over the world. Intel is lagging in massive comparisons to AMD. If we go to the weekly chart on Intel hasn't hit its all-time high since February, since even the January 1st of 2020. I mean, if you were an Intel bag holder, I'd be pretty salty, right? I'd be pretty salty. Now, if you were an AMD, it'd be a different story. If we go on the weekly chart for AMD, it is a different story. Excuse me for typing the wrong ticker. AMD. There we go. Now you go on the weekly chart, you're up massive from 120, right? From where Intel has hit its all-time high, you would have just hit a local all-time high, right? Which would have gone to a new all-time high, and then would have gone down to a new local low, which kind of looks a little similar to what we're doing here. But even though we're more drawn out, because as it's matured, AMD has gotten a lot more exposure. As more people fill into the boat, it takes more effort to move the boat. It's simple physics, right? So as long as AMD continues to rise, 10% will be harder and harder to obtain, right? But as AMD pulls back, those opportunities are there again. AMD goes to all-time highs. That's great. It's very hard for it to move another 10%. But if AMD pulls back 50%, like it almost has, if it goes down to $80, it has pulled back 50% from all-time highs, which means it is at a complete discount. You can make already 100% return from $80 to $160, right? From $160 beyond, you are making more profit than people who were at that all-time high previously, because you may not have a lower cost average than them, but in theory you are already up 100% from $80 to $160, and then onwards. You are making gains a lot easier. But pullbacks are essential for any stock broker who wants to make money. A dollar cost averaging requires a certain level of patience and due diligence. If you could almost automate the process, you can make yourself a lot of money, because if it wasn't reliant on your emotion and outside factors, and you could just allocate a safe good amount, say just $100, no matter what happens. If a tire blows out tomorrow, you could put $100 in AMD, then it would be a strict buying pattern of constantly lowering your cost average if AMD is going down, and if AMD is going up, you're constantly averaging up. So you're constantly buying more shares. If you remove the emotional aspect of it and you just look at the numerical number of shares, right, you completely disregard the fiat price. Because if you take a little bit of cryptocurrency, if you really believe in a stock, you're not buying the stock to sell it tomorrow, right? So if you could just visualize the share count and get almost excited from just seeing that go up because you like the company so much, I can tell you from personal experience, you'll make a lot of money because when profit is not driving your trading scenario, you can be due diligent about it. You won't be biased, right? If you don't think, okay, I need 30% by the end of month, right? You think, I need 30% by the end of my lifetime. That gives you so much time where you don't have to stress. You only need to be right once. Okay, you don't have to be right 1,000 times. You don't have to be right with the timing. If you are just patient, I've seen personally kids in my school that are younger, and they're in college, but they're younger, have turned small petty amounts into changing amounts with just their student loans. And I'm not saying anyone should do that, but they took out money that they had already out on debt, and with due diligence, they just bought shares. And by buying shares in Tesla, they changed their life. They changed themselves getting out of student loans. Okay, Tesla can change your life. AMD can change your life. The stock market can change your life. Our channel can change your life. We just want to give people watch list advice. I personally think AMD is on the rise of the new century. When we see this new bull run set up, which I think will start to gear up as we enter the summer months. Summer months are pretty keen. As we look back into last year's summer months, we had May, I think, is what's happening right now, right? You're seeing this exact type of pattern. Triple, quadruple bottom on the weekly candle will make a capitulation down to 72. I would bet you, let's see, it went down to about there. So I would say about $90 is going to be the bottom. And if it hits $90, I will put my money where my mouth is, and I will put in not a full portfolio, but I definitely allocate a decent size into an AMD lead, because I have the confidence in just the financials alone that the fair value price of AMD is in between 130 and 140. I won't give a specific target because it can fluctuate. Earnings will tell a whole different story. I like going through those, and we do that here at Monetary Recap. We go through the financials and the news stories and the trading action, and just give you the summarized version. Now, this may kind of be a ramble. Maybe you guys hate it, maybe you guys like it, but this is a different type of video, I think, than from all the fancy gurus. This is more of a just a documentation of our opinions and views on the stock market, and this is watchlist advice, and we hope that this watchlist advice can make you guys some money, as it's made us some money. And we have very experienced traders that just communicate in our Discord and are there as a friendly guide. You don't have to pay to interact with these people, but we will be trying to offer a one-on-one service where you can learn some stock advice and just not advice, but just some knowledge and intuition, someone you can ask questions that isn't, so readily available on YouTube. It's behind a paywall and stuff like that. You can just join our Discord and just start to learn and have all these resources, and it's going to be a really good place to find things. It's going to be like the Google but for financial world, and it's just going to be very simplified. It's going to be straight links, it's going to be quick summaries, it could be charts, it could be pictures, it could be a whole bunch of things, just quickly explaining financial terms and what to look out for and what's hot this week. And we will give daily letterheads of what we're looking at, what people should look at, what some trends are, what's going on in the world, and just give a geopolitical summary that is really keen to get you up to date. And we will try to push them out before market open so you could be ready and primed to making money in the day. So this has been Monetary Recap, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you join our Discord channel and make some money, boys.